This bent metal rod has a moving jaw. Turning the bolt adjusts the jaw spacing. The bolt has a small interior threading, but nothing seems to connect to it. The black knob is rubbery and can be tightened by hand. What is it? This is a sprinkler stop or a shutoff tool for a fire sprinkler head. In the event that a fire sprinkler is activated accidentally or is damaged, this tool is used by firefighters or maintenance staff to quickly stop the flow of water without shutting down the entire system. The split wedge-shaped jaw is inserted into the sprinkler head's opening between the frame and the deflector. Turning the handle then expands the jaw, which seals off the orifice and stops the water flow, preventing massive water damage. These gray, oval plastic things were with electronics. The bag they were in was open. What are they? The oval things look like spacers for a toilet seat, used when you install a bidet attachment. A bidet attachment is a thin panel that is installed underneath the existing toilet seat. This raises the back of the seat by a small amount. To make the seat level and stable again, you would stick these small plastic spacers to the underside of the toilet seat at the front. They fill the gap that was created by the bidet attachment, preventing the seat from flexing or breaking when someone sits on it. This is a small, hollow metal bar with an indent in the center. It's lightweight, 1.5 inches long, and has a Z on one end and an M on the other. What is it? Update. The finder figured it out. It came out of their cat's collapsible cat tent thing. These pop-up tents and tunnels for pets are often framed with long, flexible fiberglass or flat wire rods. This small metal bar is a ferrule or a connector. It is used to join two ends of the flat wire frame together to form a continuous loop. The indent in the middle is likely where it is crimped to hold the wires. It broke through the fabric of the cat tent, which is how it was found. This is a metal piece measuring 3.5 by 1.75 inches with 8 labeled holes marked with numbers like 413, 403, 402. It also has the number DJ025TL. What is this precision tool? This is a drill jig. A commenter who builds airplanes has used very similar things. A jig is a tool that holds a piece of work and guides the tool operating upon it. This drill jig would be used to drill a series of holes in a very precise pattern. The rectangular piece on the opposite side would lock into a specific part of the aircraft's structure. The hardened steel bushings in the holes would then perfectly guide the drill bit, ensuring the holes are drilled in the exact right location. The numbers likely reference the specific aircraft part number it is used for. These fixed pulleys are in a shallow shelf. There are two 2-inch pulleys on either side. Behind this wall is a staircase down into the basement, and the finder is standing in what was an add-on portion of the house. What is the purpose of this shelf and its pulleys? That shelf used to be a window. Specifically, this is the top of the window frame for an old, double-hung window that used a sash weight system. In this system, the movable parts of the window, the sashes, were counterbalanced by heavy cast-iron weights that were hidden in a cavity inside the window frame. A rope or a chain was attached to the sash, ran up and over these pulleys, and then down to the weight. These pulleys allowed the weights to move up and down freely, making the heavy wooden sashes easy to lift and keeping them in any open position. This tool, about the size of a pencil, came with an old sewing kit. It seems pretty old and is a bit bent and rusty. What is this long, thin, hooked tool used for in textile crafts? This is a slaying hook, also known as a reed hook. It is an essential tool for a weaver who is setting up a loom. The reed of a loom is a comb-like piece with many small vertical slots. Every single warp thread must be individually pulled through one of these slots. The slaying hook, with its long, thin profile and small hook at the end, is used to grab each individual thread and pull it through its designated slot in the reed. It is a very specific and indispensable tool for the laborious process of dressing a loom for weaving. This small, rectangular-like battery with a wire that leads to a small circular sensor just fell out from under the steering wheel of a 2017 Honda BR-V. It was attached with tar-like glue. What is this? This is part of an aftermarket remote start system, or an immobilizer bypass module for a non-OEM key. Modern car keys have a transponder chip that the car's ignition system must recognize to allow the car to start. To make a remote starter work, a bypass module like this one is installed. The small circular sensor is a loop antenna that is placed around the ignition key cylinder. The battery-like device holds a spare key or a clone of the key's chip. When you use the remote start, this module fools the car into thinking a legitimate key is present, allowing the engine to start. This looks like some kind of old aluminum lid. The Russian text translates to Perfume Laboratory 1 or I. Gollander, St. Petersburg. What is it from? This is a cap from a perfume bottle. The link provided shows pictures of the exact bottles this is from. I. Gollander was a perfumer in St. Petersburg, Russia in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This ornate embossed metal cap would have been the screw-on lid for one of their bottles of perfume or cologne. It is a beautiful piece of pre-revolutionary Russian commercial history and a lovely find for a collector of perfume bottles or historical artifacts. This is a small, mostly metal cylindrical object with a cloudy core. What is this bullet-looking thing found in the desert? This is a rifled slug. A slug is a single, solid projectile that is fired from a shotgun, as opposed to the many small pellets in a standard shotgun shell. The outer part is made of soft lead. The diagonal grooves, or rifling, on the side of the slug are designed to make it spin as it travels through the air, which provides gyroscopic stability and improves its accuracy. The cloudy core might be a plastic wad, or another component from the shotgun shell that is still attached to the base of the slug. This is a small metal support piece with a threaded hole and a small, faint arrow. The finder remembers it sliding into a plastic guide bracket and then screwing it down. They found it on the floor of their garage. What is it? It looks like a mounting nut that goes in a rail for a roof rack. Many roof rack systems, like those from Thule or Yakima, have a T-slot or a channel that runs along the top of their crossbars. To attach accessories like bike racks or ski carriers, you use special T-nuts like this one. You slide the nut into the channel, and then a bolt is passed through the accessory and screwed into this nut to clamp it down. The arrow would indicate the direction of insertion or orientation. It likely fell out of the roof rack's track. This key-like object was found in the ocean at Anna Maria Island, Florida. After removing the rust, it appears to be something else. What is it? This looks like a plain Jane steel thumb screw that has been heavily corroded by the salt water. A thumb screw is a type of screw with a large, flattened or winged head that is designed to be tightened or loosened by hand without needing any tools. They are used in a huge variety of applications, from holding together furniture to securing parts on boats or machinery. This one has been in the ocean for a long time, causing the steel to rust and become pitted, but its basic form is still recognizable. These small metal dome things are on the exterior windowsills of a house. They are heavy like lead and not magnetic. What are they? It's lead. The commenter uses them for plumbing to pour cast iron closet rings. These are small ingots or bars of lead. In older plumbing, the joints of cast iron drain pipes were sealed using a method called lead and oakum. Oakum, a tarred fiber, was packed into the joint, and then molten lead was poured over it to create a strong, permanent seal. Plumbers would melt these lead ingots in a small ladle to pour the joints. The previous owner of the house was likely a plumber or a DIYer who left these behind. Found in every hospital hallway, this is a metal panel about 6 inches wide that folds in when pressed. It seems too narrow to be a laundry or trash chute. What is it? It's a combination recessed paper towel dispenser and trash can. These units are very common in commercial and institutional settings like hospitals to save space and maintain a clean look. The top part of the unit, behind the wall, would hold a large supply of folded paper towels, which would be dispensed through a slot. The lower part, the panel that folds in, is a flap or a door for a small built-in trash receptacle for the used paper towels. It is an integrated solution for hand-drying needs. This hollow metal object, about 1 lb and made of brass, was found on a beach in NE, Florida, near the Mayport Naval Base. It has a small hole on top. What could it be? The commenter found the exact same thing near a B-24 crash site. This is from a maritime flare, or a smoke marker, that was used on military aircraft during World War II that flew over bodies of water. The complete device would have had a wooden, cylindrical body. When dropped from an aircraft, it was designed to float and would release colored smoke or a bright flare to mark a location on the water, for things like search and rescue, or for marking a target for a bombing run. This brass piece is the nose cone, or a mechanical part, from one of these vintage military pyrotechnic devices. What is this round thing on the wall of an old Philly apartment? A stove vent was once there. This is a decorative cover plate for a flue or a stovepipe opening in the wall. In older apartments, before modern range hoods were common, kitchens were often equipped with a simple wood, coal, or gas stove for cooking and heating. The stove would be vented to the outside through a metal stovepipe that passed through a thimble in the wall. This round plate is what would be left after the stove and its pipe were removed, neatly covering the hole in the wall. It's a common feature in older buildings. From a charity shop in the UK, this threaded steel keyring has a pointed hollow rod. It came in a foam-lined case. What is it? Zooming in on the end of the pointy tip, it looks like a ballpoint pen nib. This is a keyring pen. It's a small, compact ballpoint pen designed to be carried on a keychain for convenience. The main body of the pen screws into the cap, which is the part that is attached to the keyring. This keeps it securely closed and prevents ink from leaking in a pocket. They are a common and practical type of personal accessory. What is this round, ball-like thing? The outer case is transparent, and there is an inner ball that rotates freely. It's a wrist training ball, also known as a gyroscopic exercise tool or a power ball. Inside the outer shell is a heavy free-spinning rotor. You start the rotor spinning, often by using a pull string, or by striking it with your hand. Then, by making small circular motions with your wrist, you can get the rotor to spin at extremely high speeds. As it spins, it creates a powerful gyroscopic force, which provides a significant isometric resistance for strengthening your wrist, grip, and forearm muscles. It's a popular tool for athletes and for physical therapy. This is a small, clear plastic piece with DD on it. It was found in the bathroom of an office and is about the size of a quarter. What could it be? It's the top of a plastic vial of duoneb, a medication used in a nebulizer. Duoneb is a combination of ipiratropium and albuterol, a bronchodilator used to treat respiratory conditions like COPD. It comes in small, single-dose plastic vials called Nebulizers. To use it, you twist off the top tab, which is this piece with the DD, likely for duoneb, on it, and then squeeze the liquid into the nebulizer cup. This is a common piece of medical waste. What is this small plastic gray piece? It's about 2 cogs and 2 inches, very lightweight, and was found in a kitchen. It's a rack adjuster for your dishwasher. The upper rack in many modern dishwashers can be raised or lowered to accommodate tall items in either the top or bottom rack. This plastic piece is part of the mechanism that locks the rack into its desired height position. There is typically one on each side of the rack. This one has likely broken or fallen off, which might cause the top rack to be unstable or difficult to adjust. The link shows a replacement part for a KitchenAid model. This is a large hiking boot on a plaque with a roof over it, hanging from a tree. It was found on a hiking trail in upstate New York. What is this? Apparently, recycling old boots as birdhouses is a thing now. This is a whimsical, upcycled birdhouse. An old, worn-out hiking boot has been mounted on a plaque, and a small wooden roof has been added over the opening to provide some shelter. The opening of the boot, where you would put your foot in, serves as the entrance hole for the birds. It's a creative and rustic piece of folk art, turning a discarded item into a potential home for small cavity-nesting birds like wrens or chickadees. This is a small metal cylindrical case, about 7 centimeters long. It was bought at a flea market. It's just a bit too narrow to store ink cartridges. The finder's best guess is a single cigarette case. What is it? This is for storing sewing needles. It is a needle case or a bodkin case. These small protective tubes, often made of metal, wood, or bone, were an essential part of any sewing kit. They provided a safe and secure place to store sharp sewing needles preventing them from getting lost, bent, or rusted, and also protecting the user from getting pricked by a loose needle in their sewing basket. Its small, narrow, cylindrical shape is perfect for this purpose. This pentagonal pyramid with a door from 1928 is near a street corner in a small mining town in northern Wisconsin. What is it? As the locals told the commenter, this structure covered a well. In the past, especially in small towns and rural areas, wells were often hand-dug and were a community's primary source of water. A well house or a well cover like this one, made of wood or concrete, was built over the top of the well. Its purpose was to protect the well water from contamination by surface runoff, falling leaves, or animals, and also to prevent people or children from accidentally falling in. The door would provide access for drawing water with a bucket, or for maintaining the well. This is a metal tool about 1 foot long with a handle on one end and a screw thread in the other end. It was found at an escape room. What is it? Google is returning results for a winding tool. This could be a hand crank for a garage door or a manual override for a garage door motor used to open the door during a power outage. More likely, it is a winding wand for an exterior window shade, an awning, or a roller shutter. The hooked end would engage with a loop on the shutter's mechanism, and the user would turn the crank handle to manually raise or lower the shade. The link shows a similar one for window shades. This is a 1-inch white plastic mounting bracket with adhesive and a hole for a screw. It was found in a bin of stuff that came with a house. What is it for? This is the mounting bracket for an Ecobee smart sensor. Ecobee is a brand of smart thermostats. Their system often includes these small, separate wireless sensors that you can place in different rooms of your house. The thermostat can then use the temperature and occupancy readings from these sensors to make more intelligent heating and cooling decisions. This small plastic piece is the mount for one of those remote sensors. You can either stick it to the wall with the adhesive or screw it in, and the sensor itself then clips onto this mount. This electronic-looking device is mounted on top of a vehicle. It appears to have 4 antennae and is wired into the vehicle's power. 2 of these were parked on hills about a half-mile apart. What are they for? These are fox hunting antennas. In amateur radio, fox hunting, or amateur radio direction finding, ARDF, is a sport where participants use directional antennas to locate a hidden, low-power radio transmitter, the fox. These vehicle-mounted multi-antenna arrays are used to determine the direction of the incoming radio signal. By taking bearings from 2 different locations, the 2 vehicles parked on hills, you can triangulate the precise location of the transmitter. The FCC also uses similar equipment to track down sources of illegal or interfering radio transmissions. This is a small glass cylinder, about 2.5 inches long. One end is shattered, and the other is rounded with a small hole in it. It has no markings. What is it? It's a dropper from a bottle of essential oils, beard oil, a tincture, or a similar product. The complete dropper would have had a rubber squeezy bulb on the shattered end. You would squeeze the bulb, insert the glass tube, the pipette, into the liquid, and then release the bulb to suck the liquid up into the tube. This allows for dispensing the liquid in small, controlled drops. This is just the glass part of the dropper. The rubber bulb is missing, and the end where it was attached has been broken. Гаразд, продовжуємо. Ось наступна партія з 50 скриптів з номер 1758 по номер 1757. This sewing tool was found in an inherited sewing kit. It has a spool of thread in the handle that feeds a hollow needle. The thread is supposed to come out of the end, though it's not set up correctly in the photo. The finder guesses it might be an embroidery or leather stitching tool, but notes it doesn't look strong enough to be a speedy stitcher. What is this specialized sewing gadget for? What you've found is a tool for making tailor tacks and for basting. Tailor tacks are loose, temporary stitches used in dressmaking and tailoring to transfer pattern markings, like dart points or pocket placements, from a paper pattern to the fabric. This tool, with its hollow needle, allows a sewer to quickly make these small, looped stitches without a separate needle and thread. It's also used for basting, which is making long, temporary stitches to hold seams together for a fitting before the final sewing. It's a clever, time-saving tool for a specific set of tasks in garment construction. This photo is from the mid-1980s. The person appears to be manipulating a device with handles, which has a brand name that looks like HipCycle or FlowCycle. What is this piece of vintage exercise or home equipment? The best guess is that the brand name is HipCycle, and it's a dubious, hip-reducing exercise device. The 1980s were a heyday for all sorts of quirky home fitness gadgets that promised easy ways to tone specific body parts. This device, likely consisting of a base with pedals and handles, would have been marketed as a way to work the hip and thigh muscles to reduce or slim them. Of course, spot reduction is a myth, but that didn't stop companies from selling millions of these types of hopeful exercise machines. These are a used brass brush and a hard metal pry tool. Both have holes in them to connect to a long handle, like a pool brush. They were found in a Rock Auto box, but are not for replacing calipers and rotors. What are they for? These are tools for cleaning the space between concrete tiles or patio pavers. The brass brush is for scrubbing away moss, algae, and general grime from the joints between the pavers. The pointy, hard metal pry tool, a weeding knife, is for scraping out larger weeds or stubborn moss that grows in those same joints. Both would be attached to a long broomstick-style handle, allowing the user to clean their patio or walkway while standing up without having to kneel down. This is one of a series of black tubes, often found in pairs, along a roadway in northern Michigan. What are these for? This is conduit for running wires, most likely fiber optic cables. When installing utilities underground, especially under roads or driveways, a technique called horizontal directional boring is often used. This allows the installation of the conduit without having to dig an open trench. These black plastic tubes are the protective conduits. They are installed first, and then the actual fiber optic or electrical cables are pulled through them later. The ends are left sticking up temporarily during the construction phase. This wide black object is mounted through the windows in a new tower building. What is its purpose? This is a trickle vent. Modern high-performance windows are designed to be extremely airtight to improve energy efficiency. However, this can sometimes lead to poor indoor air quality due to a lack of fresh air. A trickle vent is a small, usually adjustable opening that is integrated into the window frame. Its purpose is to allow a small, controlled amount of fresh air to trickle into the building, providing continuous background ventilation without having to open the entire window and without creating a significant draft or energy loss. This ornate antique iron decoration is approximately 1.5 ft wide by 3 ft tall. It's hanging above a fireplace at an Airbnb. The finder's initial guess is an old sewing machine leg, but the curve at the top doesn't seem like it could attach to anything. Could it be hanging upside down? The finder's initial guess is correct, and so is their second guess. This is a wrought iron leg from an old sewing machine table, and it is hanging upside down. The ornate cast iron legs of antique treadle sewing machines are a classic design feature. This is one of the two A-frame side legs. The curve at the top in the picture is actually the foot that would have rested on the floor. The flat part, which is at the bottom in this display, is where the wooden tabletop of the sewing machine would have been attached. It has been repurposed as a piece of rustic wall art. These are 6.75-inch white plastic over-door hooks found with a laundry basket. Are they normal door hooks, just with a tiny hook for hanging items? These are meant to hang some kind of wire-form storage, like a shoe rack, a set of storage pockets, or a similar organizer over the top of a door. The main hook part goes over the door. The smaller hooks or slots on the front are where the wire frame of the storage unit would be attached. They are a very common piece of hardware that comes with over-the-door storage solutions, allowing you to add extra storage to a room without needing to drill any holes in the wall. This is an oddly shaped brown leather bag, slightly too small to hold a bottle of wine. It was found in a Midwest thrift store. It has a zipper, but no tags or brand. What is it for? The commenter has a similar bag, and it came with a thermos. This is a carrying case for a thermos or a vacuum flask. The shape, which might seem odd on its own, would be tailored to fit a specific model of thermos, likely one with a cup lid and a handle. The leather or faux leather material would provide some insulation and protect the thermos from dents and scratches. It would have a strap, which might be missing, for easy carrying. It's a classic accessory for a vintage thermos. This heavy metal object seems like some kind of dense brush. It was found in a case with oil paint pigments and other art materials. What is this tool? This is a fiberglass pen, also known as a scratch brush. The brush is not made of bristles, but of a dense bundle of very fine fiberglass filaments. It is a very abrasive tool used for cleaning, polishing, or creating texture on a variety of surfaces. It can be used to remove rust or corrosion from metal, to clean electrical contacts, or by artists to create unique textures in their work. The commenter warns not to touch the brushy end, as the tiny fiberglass shards can get stuck in your skin and cause significant irritation. This round metal ring was found while metal detecting in Ontario by the water. It has the marking Clix on top. What is it from? Clix was a zipper manufacturer with a history dating back to the 1940s in the UK. This is the pull tab from a Clix brand zipper. Zippers are used on all sorts of items, from clothing to bags to tents. Given that it was found near the water, it could have been from an old piece of camping gear, a boat cover, or a jacket that was lost or discarded long ago. The zipper itself has rotted away, leaving only this more durable metal pull tab behind. This is a wood shelf thing that looks like a cast iron knockoff. It came from an Amazon box lodged in a downstairs closet. The description was just storage rack. What is its specific purpose? This is a diagonal book rack. It's a type of small desktop or tabletop bookshelf. The books are not stored standing vertically, but are leaned diagonally against the back panel with their spines visible. The diagonal design is a stylistic choice that can make it easier to see the titles and can be a more dynamic way to display a small collection of books. The link shows a similar item on Amazon. It is a simple, modern piece of home office decor. This is a small, black cylinder with a green light. It was attached to a cord the finder thought was theirs and brought home accidentally. It has a micro USB port and looks like it could be DIY. What is it? The glue around the LED suggests this could be a DIY troubleshooting tool. The micro USB port points to it being quite old. The commenter thinks it could be a simple tool to test for power over the length of a USB cable, as voltage can drop on longer cables. You would plug it into the end of a USB cable, and if the green light turns on, you know the cable is providing power. Alternatively, it could be to check if a USB rechargeable battery has any charge left. It's a simple, homemade diagnostic gadget. This is a lightweight, black, somewhat flimsy object. If mounted horizontally, only the top hooks would work. If mounted vertically, most things would slide off as the hooks are not angled. What is it for? This looks like a cable corral that you would mount on the edge or the back of a desk. Its purpose is not to bear weight, but simply to organize and keep computer and power cords separate and untangled. You would route your various cables through the different hooks or corrals. This prevents them from falling behind the desk when unplugged and keeps the workspace looking tidy. It is a simple but effective cable management accessory. I found a bag of these in my front yard. They are clear plastic with some copper and grease inside. They are very light. What are they? This looks like a tap splice, also known as an insulation displacement connector, IDC. These are used to tap a new wire onto an existing wire without having to cut or strip the original wire. You would lay the existing wire in one channel and the new wire in another. When you then squeeze the connector shut with pliers, small metal blades inside pierce the insulation of both wires and make a secure electrical connection. The grease inside is a dielectric grease that prevents moisture from getting into the connection and causing corrosion. They are often used for low voltage wiring, like for landscape lighting or irrigation systems. This is a multi-way light switch. Push up, shuts on, push down, shuts off, regardless of the position of other switches on the circuit. What is this type of switch called? This is a retractive or momentary switch. Unlike a standard toggle switch that stays in the up or down position, a retractive switch springs back to its central position after being pressed. These are used in lighting control systems that use a central relay or a smart lighting module. Pressing any of the switches on the circuit sends a momentary signal to the central controller, which then toggles the state of the lights, on to off or off to on. This allows for multiple switches to control the same light without the confusing up is on, down is off problem of traditional multi-way switching. If you love uncovering strange and mysterious objects, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay curious. More finds coming soon.